Look, I had to say, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. And one of the challenging, I want to say one of the most challenging parts that I had to realize for myself is that I'm a hard, I'm stubborn. I'm hard headed. And at times I could be a hard learner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the one that look, people can say, don't touch that fire, it's gonna burn. But me, look, I still gotta touch the fire to see if it burns. That's the type of hard headed, hard learner I was. And and one thing is that, like in we do it to ourselves because God's like Jesus died on the cross to forgive us, for the sins. We're the ones that can't let go of that. Those have been forgiven, but we're the ones that beat ourselves up with that. We're the ones that can't forgive ourselves. We're the ones that can't let go of the shame or the guilt or whatever comes along with the decisions that we made. Usually, like I say, our sins were forgiven. However, we're the ones that stay stuck in that. And that is one of the challenging parts that I noticed even for myself. It's like in Limitations 3:22, it says, the there's we wake up every morning with renewed mercies. Every morning mercies renewed, which gives us a fresh start, uh, a new day, a new beginning to step into God's faithfulness and what He has for us. And a lot of the times, if we're waking up and our mercies are renewed each day, we are the ones that stay stuck in that old stagnant mindset, our old ways from yesterday. We're the ones that wake up picking back up the stuff from yesterday. We're the ones that stay on the cycle, or wake up with the same issues, grumpy, the problem, thinking about yesterday, feeling some way, or thinking 10 steps ahead about all that you have to do. And a lot of the times, if the mercies are renewed every day in God, why are we not pushing past it? Why are we not forgiving ourselves? Why are we not allowing ourselves to have those renewed mercies? And for myself, and that's what was the challenge for me, because it's we hang on to that. I hung on to that. I hung on to the labels, the shame, the guilt, the feeling some way, the hurt, the bitterness, the frustration, the feeling foolish or feeling played or feeling whatever it is that happened. I was the one that was hanging on to that and dwelling on that and kept repeating that. And ultimately, like I say, you start to you start to hang on to that, and you start to carry it with you, which means it becomes part of your identity. You define yourself by it, and then again, when you define yourself by things that are not good, you allow yourself to have things that are not good. You start accepting treatment that's not good. You start picking up behaviors that are not good. You start eliciting behaviors that disrespect yourself and don't hold yourself in the best light. So, if we are forgiven and our mercies are renewed every morning, you have to give yourself a fighting chance, which means you actually have to work on those things that are holding you. Work on those things that got to have a grip on you so that you can free yourself, so that you can give yourself the opportunity to live the life that is meant for you to have. And that required me to, like I say, put stuff on the table, which means I had to be honest about it. I had to be real. I had to address it. I had to speak about it. Like I say, sometimes like I say, it's anger, frustration, pissed off, mad. And then once you heal something or get through something, just like now, there's so many things that I addressed and so many things that I dealt with that I healed from, through my therapy, through drawing closer to God. Uh, and now there's some things that happen that could trigger something, you know, or trigger like where I could easily give back into one of my old ways, or there's something, it triggers and it makes you feel some way, it bothers you, it, where you can feel that it has, this situation or this encounter has affected you. And in those moments, now it's, things happen, life happens, and that is what comes about now. When those triggers come up, or if there's something that triggers me, I have to stop and I have to realistically be present in that moment and address it. I have to say, why, what is it that I'm supposed to get from this situation? Why did that make me feel that way? What is this? Like, I literally have to ask myself some questions and go through this thing until I figure out why that triggered me. What is it that I'm to get from this situation? What is it that I need to look at? What is it that I need to heal? What is it that I need to address? What is it that I need to face? What is it that I'm hanging on to that I need to release and let go? Because sometimes you can feel that you heal and that you have moved on, but sometimes you have dormant feelings and emotions, or still residual feeling or emotion, or in regards to certain situations. So if those things happen, I have to look at that. I have to stop, which requires me, like I say, I can't be moving faster, always thinking about 10 steps ahead or what I have to do. For me, the most important thing right now is being present in my moments, and being present in the moment, enjoying the people that I'm with when I have the opportunity, loving the people that I'm with, having a good time, making the most of every moment. Uh, because when you're in the moment, again, you can slow down. You're aware of that feeling. You're aware that you have been triggered. You're aware of what's going on in your surroundings, so that you can take those moments to, like I say, figure it out. What is it that I'm to be learning from this? Why is it triggering me? What am I hanging on to, or what do I need to address? What do I need to speak to this? And it's crazy because sometimes we will think we move past, and there's things that will happen and we just would think it's everyday stuff. Like I've taken a lot of pictures in my life, and sometimes even on my picture reel, your phone will click pictures up every so often throughout the day. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different pictures that you have saved in there. And a lot of us just look at those things and say, oh, that's a memory, or oh, that's a picture. Sometimes those pictures are the message. Sometimes those pictures or God telling you the thing that you need to address. Sometimes those pictures are the God telling you the things that you need to speak to, the things that you need to look at, the things that you need to realize and then release with love and compassion. So those things happen throughout the day, but if you are not aware, if you are not paying attention, certain things can pass you up and you wouldn't think twice about it. So, like I say, it was just one of those days where I just couldn't get my ass in gear. Like I said, and it was one of those introspective days where things had come up and I had to address it and I have to release with love and compassion. You know what I'm saying? I have to release situations, release people, cut ties, cut, those things. Like you have to release that so that you can let it go. And also, I have to be gentle with myself because these are lessons that I'm learning. It's easy to get frustrated with yourself if you feel like what am I doing? Why am I still in this? Why am I not moving forward? You can get caught in that negativity if you're not careful. And that is another thing. Like, if you want the blessing to come, if you want the manifestation to come, you have to become that. You know what I'm saying? It's you cannot pray for material things and millions of dollars, but you're not a good steward of your money. You can't pray and you don't know how to, like I say, you can't pray for millions when you don't know how to manage hundreds and thousands. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't pray about all this abundance that you want, and then as soon as you're done praying and trying to manifest, you go back to the scarcity and the lack consciousness. It doesn't work like that. So you have to be mindful of your thoughts, mindful of the labels and the wounds and even the beliefs that we grow up thinking about. A lot of the times we have blocks from the things that we heard. Like, there's people who have heard, people with money are evil and they don't act right and they feel they stuck up, they're not nice people, they're not good people. So some people have blocks because of those things that they heard about people with money, you know, being bad or not being good or not being helpful, being evil, and so there are different things that we grow up, different environments where you hear different things, and adult association and connotations with money. And those things are learned behaviors. We learn those things. And then those things dictate and determine what we believe and how we operate. So there are so many things that we get environmentally, we get from school, we get from the behaviors and treatments on how people treat us when we're out in the world, the things people say about us, the things that we believe about ourselves. So there's so many things that make up how we feel about ourselves and how we represent ourselves in this world that have to be addressed. So, like I say, I had family wounds, mother wounds, father wound. Like I say, the labels that were assigned to me, but ultimately the things that I believed about myself. I had money wounds because of, how I grew up, growing up in the projects, coming from humble beginnings. I had a scarcity mindset and a lack consciousness, and I thought if I saved, you didn't want to spend my money, didn't want to do this. I would spend it on everybody else, but I would never necessarily buy stuff for myself or go after the things that I wanted for myself. So, or stockpile certain stuff, like, as if I'm gonna run out, as if I'm going. So it's like some you got all of this stuff. You see something on sale, you buying some more, and it's like when you stockpile and have that hoarding and that scarcity mindset and that lack consciousness and that poverty consciousness, that affects how you operate as an adult. And you cannot realistically pray for abundance and prosperity and blessings and overflow and millions of dollars and this and that when you have a lack consciousness and a scarcity mindset. You have to change your mind. You have to heal the wounds. You have to change your heart. You have to become renewed in order to reap those blessings and in order to reap what you sow. And people do, like I say, there's karma. There's good karma when you do good, even though if you're not done right, if you do things out of the kindness of your heart, care and compassion. And that's how I was. Look, I know my inheritance is coming. Look, I know I'm going to reap what I sow, and I know it's coming back multiplied. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I may not have been valued, appreciated, or treated the best, but I did it out of love, compassion, and out of the kindness of my heart and who I was. That's how I love. So I know my blessings is coming. It is just about me making sure that I'm learning the lessons, that I'm healed, and that I'm on the frequency and in flow to receive the blessings that I'm praying for, and to manifest the things that I'm praying for. And that requires healing, and that requires you to become the vessel that can withstand and hold the things that you're praying for and the blessings that God has for you. And that is the challenging part, because we make it harder on ourselves. Again, we've already been forgiven. And God, like I say, we wake up renewed with renewed mercies every day. It is us that keep us stuck. It is our mindsets. It is going around the same mountain, and it is us not addressing, not dealing with certain things. And sometimes people try to push past, but again, if you're not dealing and addressing or speaking to stuff, you stay in survival mode. And in survival mode, you're never going to thrive. You are going to survive, but it is a fight. It's not easy. And survival mode is, like I say, I don't want to survive. I want to thrive fully, abundantly. You know what I'm saying? And so it requires us to change us. And so I had one of those days where stuff was coming up and I needed to address it, and I need to figure out where it was coming from and let it go and release it so that I can continue to move on, because it's about growth and expansion. And you have to talk about it. You have to speak about it. You have to write about it. You have to, as my therapist, Dr. Guru, says, you have to expel in order to expand, you know. And every lesson that I go through is only making me better. So no matter, and like I say, with God, patience is one of my strongest characteristics right now. So I am not gonna, no matter how challenging or whatever, how twisty or windy it may be. Look, I'm gonna stay trucking along. I'm gonna stay doing what I need to do, so that I could make it ultimately, so that I could step into my soul's purpose and the destiny that God has for me. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna be discouraged, and I sure, like I say, ain't going back to the life that I used to have. I know what's capable. I know what's possible. I see the change in myself. I see the growth. I feel it, and I know my blessings are coming, so I'm gonna stay pushing forward because I'm gonna receive my blessings. I'm gonna receive my miracles. I'm gonna receive and claim my abundance because I know what God has for me. I'm not stopping. Can't stop, won't stop. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. So be good to yourself. Yeah. Take good care of yourselves. Be kind and gentle with yourselves. Take it easy on yourselves and have some grace for yourself. You know, be good to you because you are more than worthy and deserving. And, ooh, Lord, I feel like I was about to burp. But but anyway, I just wanted to share that. So I pray that that blessed y'all. But continue pushing forward. Continue trucking along, doing what you need to do, being aware, being present in your moments, learning your lessons. And at the end of the day, it's about your growth, it's about your expansion, it's about your healing. And you are more than worthy and deserving to have the life that you want for this yourself and the desires of your heart. So sometimes it's going to require you to put in a little work and effort, but you are more than worth it. And to have this level of freedom, you know, to have this level of confidence in knowing who you are, to live in truth, to live in honesty, to not wear any masks is one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced in my life. And I pray that for everybody, that you have the opportunity to experience this level of freedom because there's nothing like it. But you have an amazing evening, a good night, and sweet dreams. Rest well, my beautiful people. I will talk to you sooner than later. All right. Bye. Mwah.